Any minute now, any minute now, we're gonna go live. Da-dee-da-da-da-dee. Waiting to go live. Any minute now, we're waiting to go live. Do-do-do-do-do. We're waiting to go live. I do wonder why it takes so long for the live stream to get started. I also wish there was like a very specific way for me to know when it has started. If anyone can comment and let me know, I guess I could do a search. But seriously, like, what would be so hard of if explicitly letting me know when it's live? I don't like it. There we go. We're live. There we go. Okay. Hi, my name is Humberto Castañeda, and it's way past your Berto time. Tonight I want to talk about saying no. Saying no can be hard. It's been hard for me to say no. Not just the word, but like when you really mean to say no to someone about stuff. And it's it's not something that is actually taught very well as we're growing up. When we're little kids, it's like, eat your food. You can't just say no. Like, go to your room. You can't say no. Clean your room. You can't say no. It's almost like we're discouraged from saying no. But we need to learn to say no. So I was going to start tonight with a little exercise. The first exercise is going to be easy. So I want a new computer. I want a new awesome computer that I can like crunch through videos with and like record music even faster with. All right, so maybe I could buy a Mac Pro. Oh man, look at how sexy this cheese grater looks, right? All right, well, sure, let's buy it. I'm gonna come here. I could do a rack mount. Yeah, let's do a rack mount because I could put it next to my. Oh, you can't see, but here, let me show you. Let me show you this. If you look down here, like this stuff, yeah, this is my rack mount stuff for audio. Imagine I could put like all sorts of music, or like I could put a MacBook, or it's not a MacBook, a Mac Pro with that rack mount stuff. How awesome would that be? Okay, so let's do that. So we're gonna go configure. It starts at a measly $6,400, which, what else should we do with our money during this lockdown time, right? Like, might as well waste it all and not have any savings or any safety net, right? All right, so let's go to, we need the best, the fastest, the most, 28 cores. I like it. Okay, now let's go to we need at least a terabyte and a half. I mean, anything less is just uncivilized. 2 Radeon Pros, I like it. Max out. I'm just going to basically max out most things. Of course, I need an afterburner card, even though I'm not going to do ProRes. I might as well have one just in case. All right. I need a new mouse pad. This thing sucks. Like, I need a new one. No question about it. And I don't use Final Cut Pro, but I might as well start. So I don't use Logic, but I might as well start. Okay. What do we got? What's my total? Oh, 51,000. I don't think you can see this. So let me bring it up a little bit for you, because it's important that you see the total down here. It's very important. Let's see if you can see it. Right there, right here. 51,900. So it's almost 52,000. All right. I'm going to say no. So yeah, just practice saying no. Now, to be honest, in this case, it was not that hard. That's a lot of money. I'm not going to spend $52,000 on a new computer. But, it's the idea of like, I practiced with an easy test. I can say no. I don't have to click continue. I'm going to stop there. All right. That was easy enough. But what about if we make it harder? Like, well, there's other sites I can get a computer. Let's go to Origin PC. Maybe I can look for a new desktop workstation. Actually, let's go gaming so I can also play games while I'm doing stuff. Let's go configure this bad boy. I'm not even going to max everything out. Look, I can do $2,000 for a new computer. Comes with a sick case. I mean, how about we just get a little more RAM? Let's just go 32. There we go. It's configured. I could add to cart. Here, let's add to cart. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. I'm getting so close. I'm one click away. I can afford that. Put on a credit card or something. I can do it. In fact, what kind of a man am I if I don't check out? If I don't buy this thing right now? What kind of person am I? Doesn't it say something about me being weak? Not having any cojones, any guts? I should buy this and then like buy something else as a reward for having bought it. Does that sound reasonable? Or does it sound a little insane? The thing is that I've literally thought this way in my life about buying things. When I was younger, I had an absolute spending addiction. So this would have been the kind of mental train of thought that would have happened. I would have literally been there going, oh, by the way, I have a comment from Kirk, my friend Kirk. He says, "You know nothing of blue lights." He's referring to, I posted a video earlier this week about the astronauts in the mission to the International Space Station. And I made a joke about how their computer screens are all blue. And someone in the comments was like, "This guy's an idiot. He knows nothing about space, the blue lights." I was like, okay. It's true. I know very little about space, especially the blue lights of space. But anyways, my point is, I should buy this thing, right? But no, I'm going to say no. I'm going to practice saying no. No, I'm not going to do this. I could, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to. For several reasons. For one thing, right now is not a good time to buy a PC. If you're following the thing, first of all, power supplies are like, you can't find them very easily. You can't find a lot of other components because of COVID. And on top of that, there's a new generation of stuff coming. So once that gets announced, prices are going to drop. So it's just not a good time. Also, my computer's working. Like I'm recording using my computer right now. Like, what's the problem? All right. But again, this is the kind of thinking that I would indulge in. It used to be more to do with like clothing and music equipment. But clothing is where it started. Now, a little bit of background. I grew up in Colombia, South America, and I did not grow up with a lot of money. In fact, when I was a young teenager, it got to the point where basically there was no real money in the house. My grandpa had a pension, and that would pay for food. So I'm not saying I was starving. I had food. We had a roof, although the roof was falling apart. But we had, like I wasn't on the streets. I had food. And I was lucky enough that my mom, who lived in the United States, would send like care packages, like clothes every now and then, a toy or two. And she would pay for my school. So I got to go to a nice school and stuff like that. But like day to day, the house I lived in, it was not a whole bunch of money. Here, let me show you while I'm talking. So I can show you where I lived. So yeah, that was how I grew up. And I think a combination of that scarcity coupled with jealousy, because I went to this private school and a lot of the people in my school came from wealthy families. By the way, here's Bogota, Colombia. You see all this? This is the city part. And here, we can tilt this a little bit. Or actually, here. Yeah. Like we can look at that. Oh, look at that. Bogota is a flat mesa at almost 9,000 feet up in the mountains. It's pretty crazy. And I grew up right here. I'll do another episode showing you a lot of stuff of Bogota, but for now I'm just going to tell you this is the area I grew up in. It was called Chapinero. It was right to the west of Chapinero. But anyways, so yeah, so I would not have a lot of stuff, and I think I had some envy issues. And then I moved to the States when I was 15, and I moved to live with my mom. And the thing is, like, all of a sudden I went from not having, enough money to having money because my mom and my stepdad had income, and pretty decent income. My stepdad is a psychiatrist and my mom's a physical therapist, so they had pretty decent income. But they didn't overspend, you know. So like my mom would buy my clothes. She didn't really give me money to go buy clothes. She would buy my clothes until I started working. I worked at McDonald's. I worked at a daycare center. I started cleaning carpets. So, you know, I would save up my money, and then I had my own money. But that's when the problem started, because as soon as I had a little bit of money, I started getting these little demons in my head. I seem to remember the first real encounter with this was I went to the bank. I opened a bank account. My mom helped me open a savings account. And I was so excited. I was like, because my grandpa had taught me about savings and the power of compounding interest and all these things. So I was super excited. And I started putting money away from my work, you know, McDonald's and things like that. But see, what would happen is I'd start saving. And as soon as there was a couple $100 in the bank account, I started feeling like this tug, like, oh man, I should do something with that money. And at first it was about music, because I wanted, you know, I was in a band in high school, and I wanted like something to play and things like that. So the first thing is like, I wanted a keyboard. I wanted this cool Yamaha keyboard where it has all these sounds and I could save, and it was amazing. It was a PSR 500, I think was the model, PSR 500. And it was $300. I think it was $300. But I didn't have $300. I had like maybe $100. So I talked to my mom, and she's like, well, if you come up with 150, I'll pay for the other half. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And maybe it was 500 and I had to come up with 250, but whatever the case was, it was some amount of few $100. I had to come up with half. So I saved my money. I got it together. My mom put her half, and I bought the keyboard, and that thing was awesome. And I had it well into college and after college. It was amazing. It was like a great keyboard. And I was super happy because I had saved up half. My mom helped me. So it felt right. You know, I planned for it. It felt good. I never regretted that purchase. And if I had stopped there, that would have been amazing. But then I got it in my head, well, like, why am I out of focus? Need to get in focus. I noticed I'm out of focus. That's the problem with autofocus, you know. Sometimes autofocus fails me. You have failed me for the last time, autofocus. Oh, man. It's not reacting. And back. Okay. Sorry about that. I'll edit this out when I like have a chance to edit it. But this is live, so what are you going to do? All right. So I'm sitting there, and I wonder how long I was blurry. Oh my God. How embarrassing. My apologies. All right. So I'm sitting there, and I don't have any sounds, exotic sounds for my keyboard. So I'm like, oh man, now I need something else. I need a sound module, a synth module with crazy sounds. And I went to the store called Ted Brown Music, and they had this thing called the Proteus. And they had the Proteus 1, and they had the Proteus 2, and they had the Proteus 3. And it was like a little rack mount thing, just like my MacBook, my Mac Pro could have been. And the Proteus 3 was the most expensive. So I'm like, that's probably the best one. And it was world sounds. And it was connected to a keyboard, and I like pressed the buttons, and it was like, boom, 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 boom. It was like, oh my gosh, imagine the music I can make with this thing. But it cost like $1,500. It was something crazy like that. It was like, yeah, I think it was $1,500. It might have even been more. I didn't have that kind of money. But I really, really wanted that thing. So I sat there, and I think I saved money, but I couldn't ask my mom. She would say no, you know. And you know why she would say no? She'd say, first of all, why do you need this? And then the truth is, I wasn't going to be able to explain why I needed it. So I didn't really need this thing, but I thought I needed it. I thought I wanted it. So then I made a big mistake. I went to my friend Aaron, and he was a great guy, you know. And I talked to him, and I'm like, dude, I need this thing. And it's amazing, but it's super expensive. And I was wondering if you could lend me half of it. And, you know, we're both in high school. He works. He had a paper route. But he was like, well, I mean, if it really means that much to you, I guess I could lend you the money. I'm like, great. So he lent me, I think it was like $750. It might have been like $1,000, something like that. Something insane. And I went to that store. I plunked down the money. I got the thing. brought it home, and I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. Like, I'm this close from now being like world famous, like rock star. I did it. Okay, first of all, I put it in my room and I'm like, all right, ready to use this thing. And I had no way to use it. Why? Well, I didn't think this through. So these rack mount things, they need to be plugged into stuff. So of course to power, but then you need a way to like trigger what you wanted to play. Okay, well that's MIDI. And so I guess I could use my keyboard to send a little MIDI signal into it. Okay, well I need a MIDI cable. Oh man, I don't have a MIDI cable. So I had to buy a MIDI cable. Luckily those were cheap, but still, it's more money. Okay, I'm set to go. But then I realized I can't hear this thing because the little MIDI signal is going out into it. But then there's other things. I got to plug it in to speakers or headphones. Otherwise, I can't hear it. And I'm like, oh man, I don't have speakers. I don't have headphones. What am I going to do? And I was thinking maybe I can plug it back into the keyboard because the keyboard had speakers. No, the keyboard didn't have a line in. So I was stuck. So I had just spent all this money, half of which wasn't mine, on something that I couldn't even use because I didn't know how to use it. I hadn't done the research. And then my mom walked by my room and she looked and she's like, what is that? I was like, oh, it's this thing I bought. How did you buy that? That looks really expensive. Oh, I borrowed from Aaron. Oh my God. My mom went insane. Like, she was so upset. She was so upset that she had me. She's like, we're going to go back to Ted Brown. We're going to take this back, which was the most mortifying thought ever. I was like, oh, that's so embarrassing. I can't show my face at that store and be like, I'm sorry, I wasn't really worthy of this. I couldn't afford it. I'm actually poor. I don't have the money. You know, because that means I'll have to admit to the Ted Brown, the person that helped me and the store and anyone around there and the world that I'm a loser, that I don't have what it takes to own a Proteus 3 in life. Man, but we did it. My mom dragged me to that store and I had to like walk in with the tail between my legs and take it back. Oh, it was so embarrassing. So embarrassing. Those guys must have been laughing their asses off, although not too much because they lost the sale. And then I gave the money back to Aaron and he was confused but grateful to get his money back. I was so devastated. But here's the thing. I was so much better for it, right? Like I got my money back. Aaron got his money back. I wasn't even able to use the thing. I would have had to spend more money on speakers. So yeah. And I wish I could say that that was the end of it. That was the beginning of a long road. That was like lesson 1 in this long road of don't like say no. Learn to say no. Yeah. So I'll show you what we're talking about here. Proteus 3 world. Look at this. I'm going to show you an image of this thing. Oh, look at how glorious this is. Look, it's this thing here. Oh my gosh, it doesn't look so glamorous now, does it? But trust me, at the time, it even had a demo sequence. At the time, this thing was, it had world sounds. But that was a case of me slowly learning to say no. Over the years, and I'll go more into this on future videos, but over the years I had more struggles with saying no. And even today, I still have areas of my life where it's hard to say no. One of those is, tending to overcommit myself. I like doing things. I like doing things with friends and other people. Right now with the lockdown, it's actually a little easier, but still, I have goals that I want to reach. And if I say yes to too many things, I'm not saying yes to my goals. So that's another lesson to learn. And I'd love to talk more about that, and we will. But anyways, I wanted to start this topic, give you a little insight into my struggles with saying no. And look, we managed to say no to buying a computer. in a way, I managed with my mom's help to say no to keeping this Proteus thing. And by the way, the thing does sound amazing, but maybe someday. But now I can get an emulator. So, but by the way, the more you practice saying no, it's funny. It's like a muscle, because I've experienced this. The more you practice saying no, the easier it gets. It's really weird. Like little by little, you start being able to see, I said no, and I'm okay. I survived. Like I didn't have this Proteus thing, and I was okay. I think that it really is like a mental willpower thing, and the more you exercise it, the more it becomes a tool at your disposal, where you can look at a situation and feel comfortable that you've already said no in many similar circumstances, or worse, so you can be like, no, I'm fine, I'm okay. I don't have to be a part of everything. I don't have to have everything. I don't have to have everything when I want it. It's okay. I grew up without the money, and that's okay. I probably gained a lot of other skills and strengths as a result of those adversities. It doesn't mean I need to like get even with the universe. It's okay. So, if I have some advice tonight, is practice saying no, in that sense. In the sense of being okay with, this time I won't overspend, or this time I won't overeat, or this time I won't stay too late when I know I should have gone home, or this time I won't speed in my Lamborghini because maybe this time I'll get a ticket. Whatever. Just no. Gets easier every time. Goodbye. This is the awkward part where we end the stream, and I don't know when exactly it ends. So I'd rather it ended while I'm